Any questions and clarifications on this or other matters?
Why can't you do it after alcohol?
Say that again.
Why shouldn't you do it after alcohol?
Because alcohol already messes you up, and this will mess you up more. Sorry, what I mean is, see, what we are aiming at is to have clarity, right? And we know that alcohol paralyzes the central nervous system, so there cannot be clarity. We are not seeking a stupor. Rather, we are seeking a calm, tranquility, and clarity. So this interferes with it in some way. There is no harm in having a drink, but don't do your kriya after that. Which doesn't mean you should drink in the morning if you want to do in the evening. In fact, I personally think that a glass of wine does no harm to anybody. First of all, it's vegetarian. You don't kill any animals, but you have to be careful because it is addictive. This is one of the problems. Then you can't do without it. And no human being should be dependent on anything. I shouldn't say I can't do without it. If you can still carry on without being dependent, great. But people start that way and then they get dependent. That's the only reason. I don't think, I know wonderful people who have a drink every day. They're not bad people. We cannot say, oh, these fellows are bad because haram. There's no sense in that, because I also know of people who don't drink but who are terrible fellows. So what do you do? It's not like that. But for our own good, it's better to keep a control, avoid if possible. The other thing is, when we drink that which is inside, we don't need drink outside. There is an intoxication which can be produced within us, which is very healthy, not addictive, good for the liver. So, somebody said, is life worth living? They said, depends on the liver. So, this is the thing. That's what I mean. And our good friend Adolf Hitler was a complete vegetarian. He didn't even eat eggs. How many people went to the gas chamber? No?
What's the specialty of the Ajna chakra between the eyebrows?
Yes? No, we have to go carefully. According to yoga, the science of yoga, and also the science of tantra, which are interlinked. When I say tantra, don't think of orgies in the cremation grounds. It's got a bad name, but it's not like that. Anyway, so between yoga and tantra, if you want to see the real link between yoga and tantra, then there is a beautiful text, fortunately translated by an Englishman called chakra Nirupana. Sir John Woodroffe, who was justice in the Calcutta High Court during the British time, he got so interested that he left his judiciary and wandered with the tantrics for some time and learned many things. And he wrote this wonderful book called, the Sanskrit equivalent from which he translated it is called chakra Nirupana. The English title he gave to the book was Serpent Power. And he wrote under the pen name of author Avalon. So why I am saying this is, so according to this chakra Nirupana and the different systems of energy in the human body, according to yoga and tantra, there are 7 centers in the human system, starting with the bottom of the spine, which is called the Mooladhara. Now the word Mooladhara means root foundation, if you translate it literally. And from there, the next one is between the navel and the lowest chakra center. It's called the Swadhisthana. We don't have to remember. And then there is the Manipura, which is in the navel. And then there is the Anahat, which is in the center of the chest. And then there is the Vishuddha, which is in the throat. And then there is the Ajna, which I'm coming to this. Ajna, which is here between the eyebrows, Bhru Madhya, it's called. And then there is the Sahasrara, which is on the top. Top meaning in this area. So, the whole theory of Tantra and Yoga is that energy operates in all human beings, but basically on the gross level. When the energies of the system, this energy is also considered a female energy, Shakti. Shakti has always been traditionally female in India. Okay. Now this energy, when it acts in the lower center, that's more than enough for our daily existence, for food, for sex, for everything. When for some people, when the energy is very active in the Muladhara, they're highly sexual. It's the same libido, the same energy which is out there. And so it's in the gross level there. So the tattva, or the, what do you call it, tattva? Huh? Mm-hmm. Element, yeah. The tattva, let me explain. For the energy, while it is at the lower center, is called Prithvi, which means earth. I think translated properly it would mean solid. Solid. And then from that level, the energy is turned subtler and subtler and subtler. And when it ascends to the next center, it's the Apas Tattva, which means from solid to liquid. But it's just a symbol to show that it's from gross to subtle, so liquid. And then when it comes here, the Manipura, it's fire. The element is Agni, the fire. Which means then when this liquid is then heated, then it becomes vapor. So the next tattva is Vayu. These are all symbolic, okay? There is no Vayu here. I mean, which means our awareness is being lifted from the gross to the subtler and subtler and subtler. And then when it reaches the Ajna chakra, this is the turning point from where the gross energies are, the subtle energies take over, and the gross energies become lesser and lesser, grosser energies. So this is an important center. It's also an important center because according to yogic anatomy physiology, there are three nadis, which are the Ida, the Pingala, and the Shushumna in the center. So the exact point inside, not here, where the Ida and the Pingala cross each other and go in opposite directions to the left and the right brains, is the Ajna chakra. So the Ajna chakra is an important center which, if you meditate upon, you go deeper in, and it is actually located. If you draw a line inside from here, it will probably touch the pineal gland or the pituitary area, and then go into the limbic system and come out. I mean, so it's an important center which, when activated, one ascends from the lower to the higher. Even in the Gita, when Krishna talks about Dhyana Yoga, he says, put your attention between the eyebrows. But there is also another important center, which is the heart. When I say heart, it's not the organ that pumps blood, the core of your emotions. When you get emotional, you usually feel it here, you don't feel it here. See? So these two centers are very important from the yogic point of
What does it mean? Connection between the energy here and the where does it mean because of that, or
Yeah.
completely different?
view. No, they're different. Completely. Denise. Your daughter didn't come?
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
Sometimes it is very difficult to empty the mind of all thoughts, particularly if you are doing it at the end of the day when you are trying to relax before you go to bed, which is when I try to do this. But if you have had an instance or a particular stress in your life, it is very hard to empty. So So, do you let the thoughts come?
Let the what?
Do you let the thoughts come, or do you try to block them?
It depends on the person. These are very individual things. It's difficult to empty the mind of thoughts like that because the mind cannot stay empty. It is like nature. Nature cannot bear to have a vacuum. Immediately air rushes in. It's the same thing with the mind. It cannot, if you try to keep it blank, more thoughts will come in. It's normal, it's not. So therefore, the idea is, instead of that, engage your mind in some activity within, which is not connected to any external activity. So for some time, the mind then gets systematically connected into a pattern of following something that's happening inside, which is the breath. So for some time you are free of disturbing thoughts because the only thought is your breath, right? So keep it there. As you progress, you will see that one day, watching your breath, everything is fine, and then you let go that also. What I'm saying is, if you keep cutting all the thoughts separately, they keep sprouting like grass. When you go to the core and then suddenly take it off, then you might one day experience that disturbance-less state. So first start by fixing your attention on some action internally, because the mind refuses to keep quiet without any action. So give it the action of the breath. You know what I mean? So it's completely engaged in that, like a routine. And then while it's there, it's calm because there is no time or no occasion for it to get caught up outside. So it's here. As you go on doing that for a long time, one day you let go of that, but not before that. And then there's something tremendous happening, which is beyond our understanding, because it's not part of conditioned thought. But to attempt to reach there while your mind is still disturbed is not possible. That's it. I think you need practice, but then as you practice, you should also, it shouldn't be that it becomes a mere ritual. That's also, we have to watch out on that. I'm doing everything, but I'm watching, but my mind is this, so you have to bring it back again and again. But what happens is when the breath becomes quiet and systematic and everything is still, then there's something which you begin to enjoy inside. When this happens, then you're done. Then you need not have to worry too much about it. You know why the mind goes? Because it is seeking enjoyment outside. If you give it something, if you give it honey to suck here, then it will come back here. Or what is that other thing that comes, which you put in pancakes? Maple syrup. The only thing I carry from the United States when I go back is maple syrup. What? Huh?
Vegemite.
What is that?
Vegemite.
What's that?
Vegemite.
Vegemite? It's kind of maple syrup? Oh.